Guys, this is one of those knives that has gotten such a following and stuff like that because of Nick Shabazz. I own one. I haven't done a video about it for a while because I go through spells where I'm not sure if I like it or not. So let's go ahead and get into that. But first, you guys know what time it is. Turn down the volume because here comes a little bit of music. That Nick loves and talks about a lot. I mean, it only makes sense to have Nick play in the background. I love Nick, great dude. I use him as a ready resource a lot of times. If he has a video about a knife and I'm just curious about something maybe I can't find out, I use Nick as a ready resource. And if I can't find the video, I'll just text him and ask him, hey, have you ever done this? What about this? What is your take on this? And I bounce stuff off of him because Nick is a really genuinely great dude. Love talking to the guy. So, what are we talking about? We are talking about the Ontario Rat 1. Now, I do know mine looks a little different, but that's because I am a fan of D2 steel, but I don't necessarily like the way it oxidizes. So when I started having some heavy pitting and things on this knife, because can I make a knife rust? Can you make a shoe smell? Because I can do it. I don't care what the steel. I'm really hard on D2 if it's not coated. So I have modified mine a little bit, so it does look a little bit different. But yeah, it is a great knife. I go through spells where I'm not sure if I like it or not. But let's go ahead and meet up down at the counter, and let's take a good look at it, and we'll talk about why I waver back and forth sometimes and why it hasn't left my collection yet. Because, I mean, I go through spells, like I said. I love it. I don't like it. I love it. I don't like it. So let's go ahead and meet up down there.
All right, guys, here it is. This is the Rat 1. Now, this knife actually has a pretty interesting history that goes back to Peru and things like that. These were designed for Ontario by Randall Adventure Training was what it was. And that's where you get the RAT. The RAT Model 1, which is this one, and the RAT Model 2, which is the smaller one. So what are we looking at? Now, I like I said, I do know that mine looks different because I have put a coating on the blade. But if you can see here, the reason I coated it was this blade was already rusting and pitting to the point where I just had to do something or the knife was going to get destroyed. So what are we looking at? This is a 3.6-inch D2 drop point blade. Now, if you get it from the factory, it comes with a satin finish and has all the Ontario and Rat markings on it, as well as the pocket clip. I kind of wanted to do a Christmas knife, so I did a red pocket clip on mine. Like I said, drop point satin blade. Handles on this are 5 inches, and so your handles are done in nylon 6. This is not G10. This is done in nylon 6. So when you've got the handle length and the blade length together, you're looking at 8.6 overall length. It does have a 4-position pocket clip. So you can flip this, tip up, tip down, left, right, however you want to carry it. And it is a steel liner lock that runs on washers. Now inside here there is what looks like a phosphor bronze washer, and then it has a nylon washer on top of it. You do get some fairly smooth action. I have mine pretty tight. This one did have blade play, but I mean, it's not to the point where you cannot operate the knife. It is fairly comfortable in hand. It does have a kind of a weird feel to it. It's not uncomfortable, but it's just one of those things I can't figure out whether I really like it or not. Weight on this, I had to go by the website weight. My preferred vendor is always going to be knifecenter.com. I love those guys over there. They do a really good job, and you get points. This is available pretty much anywhere, but I usually go for specs at my preferred vendor, which is knifecenter.com. So yeah, this thing is a really robust knife, and the nice thing about it is it's not going to break the bank. It cuts real well. It has some unusual lines to it. Now, like I've said, I go through spells where I love this knife and then I don't like this knife, and I love this knife and I don't like it. As a matter of fact, it was in my Pew Pew safe until this morning, and I looked at it. I was like, you know what? Let me pull it out, and I need to revisit that. And I think the reason, and I'm not sure about it, is because it feels so unusual in my hand. It really does. It's got this big belly here, and then the spine comes down, and then the blade comes up really high here, which ergonomically it cuts well and it feels okay in hand, but it feels so unusual. And then I get up in here and it does get a little hot spotty up in there. I've actually carried it a lot. As you can see, I've worn the ceramic off the pocket clip, but I've carried it a lot without the pocket clip, just had it in a bag or something and just in the glove box and just took the pocket clip off so that if I needed to use it, the pocket clip wasn't there, because it is kind of tall. It's just one of those generic flat top pocket clips. It is well constructed. It's well built. I haven't had any issues with the knife overall. I do have to say, though, I don't think that this, for me, is as nice a knife, or that I love it anywhere near as much as Nick does. Nick just raves over the Rat 1. Like I said, I do see it sometimes, but then, you know, there's other things about it. So this thing is not super slicey like some other knives. Let me go get the calipers and we'll look at the behind the edge thickness. So behind the edge thickness on this, let me get right behind my edge here. Behind the edge thickness on this is 0.3. So it's not a 0.9, you know, 0.295, 0.9. I think I slid forward into my actual edge bevel. Yeah, 0.265, somewhere in there. It's not as slicey as some of the other knives that I've got. Blade stock thickness on it is 0.105-ish. And so for a blade stock that is that thin, I would like to have seen this come down a little thinner behind the edge. Now, I could always regrind this if I felt like it, but the fact is that this knife, guys, is only $39.95 on Knife Center. Now, right now they have it listed as delayed by manufacturer, so I don't know why, but there's a delay on these. I mean, is it a good knife? Yes, but it's not one of those ones that I would call a gem. There's some other knives out there at the same price point that you get a little bit more from, and they're a little bit nice. Overall, they're just a little bit nicer knife. These are made in Taiwan. Some of the other knives I'm talking about are made in China and some of the other places. And the other thing that really kind of, sometimes this action, it doesn't want to, by the time I got rid of the blade play that was in this knife, I get a little bit of a sticky, I can't slow roll it the way I want to. When I loosen the pivot to where I get it to where it slow rolls nice, then I got a significant amount of blade play. And the last thing is, the edge on mine was super inconsistent on the grind. You can see, even though I've had it for a while, there's a couple spots here, low spots, where the edge just didn't marry up. You can see right there that it's got a bit of a low spot in here on the very tip of this. When I first sharpened this after I did the ceramic, there was my stones weren't touching. You know, the black, I would come up and it would just stop right there. So it did have a bit of a misgrind, so you may have to account for that. It is D2 steel, which does take a really good edge. The steel has seemed like it has held up. It gets aggressively sharp. But like I said, the other option in this is AUS 8, which is this is definitely an upgrade. The D2 is definitely an upgrade. But AUS 8 doesn't seem to rust as badly as D2. So if you're somebody like me that can definitely make a knife rust real easily by sweating all over it, the D2 might not be an option for you unless you want to send it off to somebody to get it coated. But really, on a $39, $40 knife, are you going to do that? Because the fact is, if you get this knife, if something happens to it, you can always just get a new one. Last thing on it, this knife is nice and thick. It does fit well in the hand, but they really didn't scallop that out real well to let you get access to the liner. And it's, for as broad as this knife is, it's kind of narrow in there, and so sometimes I have a hard time getting that frame or that liner lock disengaged. Thumb studs are great though. The thumb studs are just where they need to be. If you've got good strong thumbs, you can snap it. But like I said, it's definitely not. This is definitely not like a fall shut knife. I imagine I could probably do some break in and things on it, but you know, I oiled this right before I shot the video, and it's still pretty stiff. And that's with KPL heavy on the detent and just regular KPL on the washers. So, yeah, guys. I mean, the Ontario Rat 1, is it a good knife? Yeah. Do I agree with Nick that it's a gem? I guess it just depends on what day of the week it is. So, all right, guys, let's meet up behind the camera. So Sorry about that, guys. I had a truck decide that he wanted to rev his engine right outside the garage. What I was saying is, let's go ahead and meet up behind the camera and just do some final thoughts.
Like I said, I mean, there's elements about the knife I like. There's elements I don't like. There's things that, there are times where I really love it and I carry it. And then there's times where I just go and I put it away. And I'm like, I just don't even want to look at it. It's not the most attractive knife out there, but it's also got its own uniqueness to it. So, you know, there's just things about it that it's here and there and things like that. But all around, like I said down below, all around, I think it's just a very, very good value. For what you pay, what you get, all those things. And the nice thing is, if you happen to lose it or damage it in a fashion, they're not that hard to replace. So, yeah, guys, Ontario Rat 1. I'm not going to say it's a gem like Nick says, but I'm like, it's all right. So, guys, if you want to support the channel, please, the easiest way, the best thing you guys can do, if you can't support the channel financially, is to share videos like I'm doing with Nick here. Share it with people you think would enjoy it. If you do want to support the channel financially, there's several ways you can do it. I have a monthly membership that gets you in on exclusive giveaways. It gets you in on exclusive content. You get shout outs and videos. You get early access to all the videos. I have affiliate links down below that you can buy stuff through Amazon and things like that. I have the merchandise store below. If you do want to use the merchandise store, there's two separate links. There's one that is the general Ember Shirt Co. Link that takes you to all the stores that are on Ember Shirt Co., the Ember Shirt Co. general store there, where they have their stuff. And anything you do either through my merchandise store or their store, if you use the code CrazySharp, all one word, Crazy Sharp, capital C, capital S, all one word, gets you 10% off at checkout. So if you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. Try to tell me why. I can't change content if I don't know what's wrong. You know, and I mean, basically that's it, guys. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Be good to each other in the comment section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And I'll see you in the next video.